Hello and welcome back to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, where today I'm on a new capture card, so if sound is different than usual, that's why. Hopefully it's at an appropriate volume, but yeah. New capture card won't do anything particularly interesting for this game. It's basically the same kind of model as before, just newer version, which can handle 4K 60 with HDR, which this game does not have. Wait, no, we don't do lobbies, or we don't do free C, we do free A, 3, yeah. Yeah, I actually had to cut the game audio in half relative to how I had it with the old capture card, because I guess this one's just got a higher baseline or something. But hopefully it should be plenty fine and shouldn't drown me out during gameplay while still being plenty audible. And today is February 13th. And thus, our passcode is 0213. And hello, Wolfkinson and Outlander. Now let's, right. I don't need to show details because we've already decided them. And welcome to the party, Wolfkinson. Let's get this show right on the road by finding a monster that I want to fight specifically because I enjoy it. And you know what? Let's do it by itself, so it's got more HP. And I guess I'm bringing another Excellion. Oh well. Making an ivory laggy last longer is not the worst thing in the world because it's a beautiful animal. Running low on energy drinks. Yeah, Wolfkinson, we can cap it. If you need to get yourself a laggy mantle, I am not going to stop you. If it limps, it will be captured. The C-Deus axe is a pretty good reason to want to capture a laggy. It's a good axe. I'm going this way because it's faster than going all the way through that area you're about to go into. Sure, it's an extra load zone, but it's a shorter path. Not by a whole lot, but by some. This one seems big. Kind of interesting how this is the land laggy. Like, it was designed to work on land. That is what sets it apart from standard laggy, is it's the land laggy. And then Generations comes out and is like, hey, we've got laggy, but no swimming, so it's on land all the time. And it's got more moves than Ivory Laggy did. And now the tail belongs to us. Kind of annoying that this thing's horns bounce purple. Yeah, if Capcom was willing to put just one subspecies in Generations, like, I feel like they really should have just done Ivory Laggy instead of Standard Laggy. And honestly, if Generations released on a system where modding was more prevalent, I'm willing to bet that, like, within days, someone would have made a mod that just does a palette swap of Laggy for Ivory Laggy in it. And you know what? I would have used that mod because it would have been closer to canon. Alright, horns are got. You know, it just occurred to me that Capcom put Monster Hunter Freedom Unite out on iOS. You know, a while ago, sure. But we were already well into the 4th generation of Monster Hunter games. If not the 5th. I forget whether World was already out by then. So they're willing to go back a few generations, at least to put a Monster Hunter game on new hardware and expose it to a larger audience. And just hear me out. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for iOS? They could do it. And they could make it have online play again. I doubt they have any real reason to, but, like, they could. Nothing is stopping them. This trap isn't for capture, it's for getting the back. There we go. Now the chest is our only... Never mind. It is fully broken. Yeah, Outlander, I am aware that Monster Hunter Double Cross released before World in Japan, while Generations Ultimate released after World in the US. But we're talking about Freedom Unite for iOS, where that launched relative to other games in the franchise. Because I know we were at least in Generation 4, if not Generation 5 by then. I forget whether it launched before or after World. But the point is, Capcom has shown a willingness to at least once go backwards 2 generations of Monster Hunter, if not 3. Oh, rip, we have had a DC. Well, with this thing being fully broken, I'm willing to bet this quest is not too terribly far from over. So we just finish shit on our own and then attempt rejoining. If I was smart, what I would have done is get my USB Ethernet adapter off of my Switch and put it on my Wii U for these streams. I'm willing to bet that's at least some of the cause of my disconnects. Even though my Wii U is sitting physically 3 feet away from my wireless router. Like, it is I mean this in the most literal of senses, less than a meter away from the thing that is providing it Wi-Fi. Hey, Drake, great. Okay, so yeah, Freedom Unite for iOS was only 2 generations behind. Still, if they do it this year, 3U for iOS would only be 2 generations behind. I feel like if this boy was smaller, that last slide wouldn't hit me. But this is a large boy. Alright, that's a limp. I'm still gonna capture it. If I'm fast enough, we'll get to see this guy in the water. Not often you get to encounter an ivory laggy swimming. And he's swimping away. I kind of wish Ivory Laggy was more willing to swim during combat. Like, yeah, its land moveset is fine. I clearly had to use a lot of potions, so it works. But I wish it was more willing to enter the water during the fight, because it can still do things underwater, too. That poor Bnahabra. That poor other Bnahabra. Like it already recovered from one of the trinks. At least a little bit. But hey, quest clear. You know, it's interesting that despite laggy being fairly common in the flooded forest, we have yet to see a laggy that has any greenery growing on it. Like crocodiles, you see them covered in moss all the time, right? Laggy's based on a crocodile, and yet we have never seen a mossy laggy. Hey, I got a mantle. Okay, it was slightly larger than average. But not a crown. Now to play the Who Disconnected game. It was me! Outlander, with regards to this file's goals, I've made and fully upgraded every switch axe. And, yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, I'll go ahead and take a look at my guild card. Oh, hey, might have been both of us. Because A3 is empty. Which means maybe it wasn't just me. Anyway, back to the red room, which I forgot to specify that we're in the red room in the thing, but it's the only room in lobby 3, and hey, I'm red. It's the red room. Imagine that. Yeah, let's take a look at my guild card. So, as far as my goals go, I mean, it's small crowns, and then I have complete guild card. I forgot that this game doesn't care if you get gold larges. I knew that GU didn't care, but I figured that was just because GU's roster is impossibly large. Yeah, guess this game just doesn't care about gold larges, so I just need small crowns, and then I will have completed this guild card. Which means Baroth, Sandbarioth, and Baleful Giginox are all that stands between me and a completed guild card for the first time outside of World and Iceborne. Let's see if we can find one of those monsters with some interesting friends. Well, if it's with friends, it would be in an advanced quest. You know what? A second Baleful Giginox is an interesting friend. Wait, I need to not bring a lightning weapon to this. Isn't Baleful Giginox weak to, like, water? Yeah, whatever. You know what it's just as weak to as everything else? The Brisant Demolisher. By the way, on Saturday, when I was talking about how the hub music for the G-Rank hub in 4U was not as lively and energetic as other places' hubs, like, this is exactly what I was talking about. This music here makes it feel like this is a place where people gather and enjoy themselves, as opposed to, oh, you're in some fancy pants hall where everything's all respectable and serene. No, I want my guild halls, my hubs, to feel like lively, bustling places where hunters come and go and have a good time, share stories, all of that. That is the vibe that I want out of my hubs. Well, this one's definitely not gold small. I forgot cool drinks because, or hot drinks, because I'm a genius. Now, just imagine if we were playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak right now. This quest would be a guaranteed gold large and gold small. And there goes the chest. Well, that thing didn't stay out of rage long. Nice tail break. They really needed to make it not be so easy to bust the electro sacks this thing places on its back. Because not only does breaking them keep you safe from the explosion, it also gets you a free flinch. Like, unless your weapon is terrible, there's not much reason not to go for it. I mean, sure, we didn't get it there, but that was because this thing was moving all around. And neither one is gold small. Excuse me, sir, madam, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And biologically, these are both sir and madam, so calling it sir, madam is appropriate. Alright, that's all brakes on this one. Thanks, Baggy. Thanks, Baggy. Yes, Reggie's baleful Giginox specifically. In other words, the better Kezu. Thanks, Benhabra. Yes, Reggie's, we were doing 2 of them. Now we're just doing the 1. But the quest called for 2, so we're doing 2. It's also one of exactly 3 monsters in this game that I do not yet have a gold small crown for. And if I can get a gold small crown for all 3, then I will have a complete set of guild card awards for this game. there's the face break. This Giginox is fully broken. And there we go. I didn't even have to use that many energy drinks despite forgetting my hot drinks. So we had a silver large and a 11 centimeters away from silver large. Yeah, definitely not gonna get a gold small out of those. Hey, Baroth Brigade is a quest that looks perfectly tailored to trying to get one of the gold smalls I need. I'm gonna go get a different weapon. Because as nice as Brisant Demolisher is, its sharpness just does not last. So I want to find something with sharpness that does last. Crimsidian might work. It's an element file, but it does have a lot of fire, and Baroths are weak to that once they're clean. Oops, it is in 6-star. I'm going to bring cool drinks and hot drinks because I wasn't paying attention to what time this quest was. But I'm not going to be caught drinkless this time. Outlander, I don't think they're gonna drop elements anytime soon. Because, like, they're not a small damage increase a lot of the time. They can be pretty enormous, and, you know, it's a standard RPG staple. It's been with the Monster Hunter series since the very beginning. They're not gonna ditch element damage. It would be kind of neat if they did, like, tie it to status, like, oh, hey, there's no para weapons anymore, they're just lightning weapons with para as a side effect. This one's not gold small. But, like, even that, you then have to ask questions like, okay, well, how does it work on monsters that are immune to lightning? Can they just not be paralyzed? And then there's the fact that, you know, we've got monsters associated with specific statuses. So, like, do weapons that used to be just para become lightning weapons? And how does that work when the monster itself has nothing even remotely lightning related? Like, would Volvidon then have lightning weapons that paralyze? That would be weird. And then you'd run into the fact that, like, some elements would just be flat better than others, depending on which status they applied. Because, like, what does fire get to do? And is, like, water now poison? Which element does sleep? Certainly not fire. If you're on fire, you're not going to be sleeping, right? Does fire now do blast? Yeah, I guess I could see, like, fire doing blast, water doing poison, ice doing sleep, lightning doing para. But, like, yeah, it would make certain weapons significantly better than others. Well, hopefully the next Baroth is a good sight smaller than this one, because this was a pretty big boy. And my purple sharpness lasted for the entire hunt of this one. Well, it's a little smaller. Still not going to be a crown. Whoa, there was a Baroth here? Yeah, another reason that they're just not going to get rid of elements and element weaknesses is it's the biggest encouragement they have to use different weapons instead of just making, you know, one switch axe and having that be the only one you use ever. And the fact that Alatreon was like, hey, you have to use element if you want to stand a real chance at beating this monster. Like, that right there is proof positive that they are never going to get rid of elements. They are more likely to encourage element use further than to eliminate it. And I'm pretty sure their means of balancing status these days, like, status weapons are almost always, as a weapon, just worse because you sacrifice so much damage to apply a status. And, like, sure, you do get the benefit of the status, which isn't nothing. Especially in multiplayer, a paralysis weapon can potentially contribute as much damage to a team by enabling the others to do more damage as bringing an appropriate element. But, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the way that they've balanced it these days is just like, hey, you bring a status weapon, you get the status once or twice, and then you go swap weapons mid-hunt because you're allowed to. Instead of, hey, you bring a status weapon and it makes the monster slightly easier to deal with for some of the time, but the quest as a whole takes longer because of it, unless you're in a full party. And Baroth number 3. I think this is the smallest one yet, but I don't think it's a crown. Actually, this might be bigger than the last one. Nah, Reggie, this is not a jungle, this is the Sandy Plains. I know it doesn't look quite like it did in Rise, but it is, in fact, the same map. And it also certainly doesn't sound like it did in Rise, but that's because its theme was way better back in this game. Like, this theme, relative to the Rise theme, makes the Sandy Plains sound bigger and more lively. It's got more life in it. Yeah, this theme much better encompasses the, you know, grand, imposing nature of a desert. Like, you gotta be hardy if you're gonna live in the desert. And this theme agrees with that. Yeah, California, my Wilds wish list is also an accompanying Stories 3. And while we're at it, make the Gen 6 mid-generation spin-off main game be just Stories art style Monster Hunter. Just reuse the models from Stories 2 if you have to. And just everyone. Make everyone be there. It would be way too many monsters for one game, but do it. Give us in Monster Hunter's 6th generation as its anniversary title. I know this year is the big anniversary, but still. Give us Monster Hunter Generations 2. Monster Hunter Stories Art Style Edition. Every monster is here. Yep, we got a gold large. And our shortest one was average. We are beginning to see why I do not have these gold crowns. The small ones, that is. Oh, right, this axe existed. And hey, it's better than Giga Gelfrost. In many ways. Not always, but many ways. So hey, might as well use it. Yeah, California, it is pretty weird and lame that they didn't let us ride Valstrax in Stories 2, especially because Monster Hunter no, it was Monsty Drop. The Monster Hunter Stories based phone puzzle game had freaking a model for a Valstrax with a saddle in it. A 3D model. They already had it made. They could have given us a rideable Valstrax in Stories 2 without needing to necessarily create an entirely new model. And they just didn't give it to us. Honestly, that is like my one complaint with Stories 2 is it didn't really add that many rideable monsters. Like, if you look at the number of monsters that have been added to the series between Stories 1 and Stories 2 versus the number of monsters that were added to Stories 2 from Stories 1, like, proportionally, it is much smaller. Wait, I'm gonna bring Sonics. Almost forgot those. They help. Yeah, Reggie's, the only way to figure out what your main is to keep playing a bunch of different weapons until you find whichever one suits you best. Yeah, if I go this way, it'll be faster. And then we go through here. Oh, that's in the middle. Well, hey, there's the sand barrier. Might as well paint it on my way. Also, this is not a gold small. That I can say with certainty. Not a gold small sand barrier. This thing's mad, so no Sonics work. Well, so much for using that. Nice horn break. Yeah, Diablos is a pretty cool monster. It was definitely among people's least favorite to fight in this game, at least. But it's still okay. Aesthetically, it's pretty cool. I prefer Monoblos. But, you know, Diablos is cool too. And I cannot deny that Bloodbath Diablos is one of the best fights in the franchise. Again, it's that whole take a monster, let it get mad, and then let it get mad again thing. And since the Diablos has been here longer, I'm thinking we paint it. I know it's because Wolfkinson swung his weapon at the same time, but it almost looked as though my dung bomb broke that second horn. Ow. Okay, Diablos is out. Gonna repaint the berry off just to ensure that we can find it after the Diablos is done. Yeah, I'd be more willing to believe that this thing is gold large than gold small, just for the record. What a lovely thing to walk into. What a very lovely thing to walk into. Yeah, Reggie's, the female Kieran armor's look is iconic. Like, it's one of the most popular in the franchise. There's a reason that whenever Capcom does a crossover between Monster Hunter and something else, you will almost always see as the two representatives a male hunter in Rathalos armor and a female hunter in Kieran armor. Because those are just the iconic armor sets for the franchise. But yeah, the male Kieran armor is not bad, and everyone's got their tastes. And now, since the cat is not mad, it gets the dung. Of course, it had to shoulder check me right before leaving. And of course, the Diablos goes to join it. Aesthetically, my favorite armor set in the franchise is female Barioth X in this game. So, like, yeah, everyone's got their own tastes. That's how it is when it comes to art appreciation. Alright, Diablos down. This is a pretty neat switch axe. It was from an event quest, which means it was a replacement for an axe that the Japanese version got and looked completely different. I forget whether this was one that came from a fan art design contest, though. I think it might have been. Good old Sandberry tornadoes sticking around forever. And just going where they please. Iceborne should have brought Sandberry back. Sunbreak should have brought Sandberry back. Sunbreak's roster would have been so much bigger if they had also brought back all of the old subspecies instead of only adding new subspecies. Or at least new to main series subspecies. And like, nobody would have complained about having the roster be bigger because of it. Not a soul. Like, just imagine if each title update also filled out the older subspecies. Like, we could have had Fulguranja back. And they didn't have to... Like, if they do that, they don't have to make it so that the subspecies are just... have better gear than anything that's come so far. You're allowed to add things for people who aren't at the end of Endgame. Just... give people more options for things to hunt and have fun with. It's not a live service game. You don't need everything to be an upgrade. Frostfang Barioth armor, at least the female armor, I would like a lot better if it just didn't have the high heels. Because, like, it's basically a recolored version of female Barioth X from this game, but with high heels. Why did they put high heels on it? It does not need high heels. And yeah, it'll be nice if Monster Hunter Wilds has just loads of monsters. I would love that. I want to see a new generation start for the first time in ages with no fewer monsters than the end of the previous generation. Yep, that was not a gold small. And I was right when I said I would have been more willing to believe that it was gold large than gold small. Well, we have attempted to hunt all 3 of the things that I needed small crowns for. And it didn't exactly go too well. You know what? There's a monster that I don't have to change weapons for, that I feel like we should do. It's not that one. Where is it? There it is. And it's in the Misty Peaks. We haven't done a Misty Peaks quest in the Tanzia Tuesday series yet. Which is a real shame, because Misty Peaks is aesthetically my favorite map in this game. Yeah, we haven't done a Zinogre. A regular Zinogre on Tanzia Tuesday. And I feel like it'll be interesting doing it on the same day as we have done an Ivory Laggy, because both Zinogre and Ivory Laggy were designed initially to be a land-based alternative to Laggy. Outlander, the gold, or the Sandberry that we did in that quest was smaller than my previous record by about 20 centimeters. So not only was it a gold large, it was a worthless gold large. Everyone say hi to the turtle. The turtle deserves your respect and admiration. With all of its 5 frames per second glory. Takes a real king to live like that. Outlander, no. Turtles and tortoises are different. Tortoises are dogs. Turtles are turtles. All I know is you better not tell me to try fingering anywhere. This ain't no Elden Ring. Fun fact, Zinogre's theme was the second theme to include electric guitars in the franchise. The first being Alatreon. And that is an upset dog. You know, it's kind of weird on the subject of dogs and turtles that the closest thing we have to a turtle monster so far is somehow Tetranodon. Which I don't think I need to remind you is a frog. A duck-billed turtle frog. But a frog nonetheless. And it took until freaking Rise for us to get anything even remotely resembling a turtle in the main series. Like, sure, Frontier got Odibatarasu, which, like, I guess call it turtle-like. But also, it looked really stupid, and I just don't believe a biological back cannon belongs in this franchise. Okay, we already got the back broke. Fun fact, Zinogre's back break was bugged in this game. You could get it basically whenever, but the visual didn't show up until Zinogre's health fell below a certain threshold. Like the visual for the actual break, the break sound and animation, you know, the one that just played moments ago. Yeah, monsters doing stuff like water jets from their mouths, that's one thing. But a biological cannon that shoots rocks from a monster's back is weird. And the fact that they chose to add it to what they were using as basically a third member, adding or making the Akantor Ukanlos duo into a trio. And they're like, I know, we'll put the third one in the desert and put a rock cannon on its back. Like, no. And that's a limpy dog. Yeah, it's once Zinogre becomes cap ready that the back break happens in this game. Yeah, there are some monsters in the franchise that do have body parts that aren't their mouths that expel projectiles. But they are few and far between. And they're the types of Elder Dragons where they're allowed to be a little magical. Like, we got Valstrax shooting energy blasts from vents on its wings that are powered by its air intake in its chest. Sure, you know what? Fine. And we've got Dire Miralis, who has rocks come out of volcanic holes on its wing arms and neck. And like, you know what? Sure, it's got all that lava swirling inside it. It's got to go somewhere, right? But then we've got a thing that's like giant red turtle shaped like an Ukanlos with a turtle shell. But also that turtle shell has a front-facing biological rock cannon. It's very silly, and I don't agree with it. I don't believe it belongs here. What are we grabbing? Oh, nullberries, okay. Yeah, those are worth getting. Those are some real low-res birds. Was trying to figure out what they were, and then noticed the little beaks. They're just low-res birds. All right, Wolfkinson, I've been monopolizing the posts too much. You post something. Just give priority to stuff we haven't hunted yet. There. Now I've got energy drinks to last. Oh! Yeah, Wolfkinson, apparently it's not just you. So, let me just get this remade, and while we're getting reconnected, think of the type of thing you'd like to post. Think long and hard. Oh, wow, there are, 11 fewer people in free A than there were before, so something tells me it wasn't just us. Yeah, I have reason to believe Nintendo just does not care at all about these servers right now because they're going to be going down completely in less than 2 months. Like, they could probably stand to have a little maintenance done at this point. And I am just, yeah, I don't believe Nintendo is doing said maintenance. Anyway, hub's back up. Yeah, it would be great if Uconlos was in this game. It would be great if Uconlos was in every game. I love Uconlos. It's also kind of sad that, yeah, there's no Tigrexes in this game, but that's just how it goes. It's interesting to think that Zinogre Skyworlds did not exist prior to this game. Because this is Zinogre's second appearance ever. And its first appearance didn't have G rank. I forget what the Duramboroses are weak to. I'm gonna guess water, though. And even if I'm wrong, the Ceodidax is still good. Like, if you take efficacy against... like, total combined efficacy against all monsters into account, I have reason to believe that the Ceodidax might be the best Switch Axe in the game. Mostly because it's got a lot of raw in a power file, and good sharpness. But there is a decent chance that just, if you compare every Switch Axe in the game, and its average efficacy against all monsters, I think there's a decent chance that the Ceodidax just comes out on top. Outlander, little did we know, but a Mega Bagel is actually just another term for a seething basil. That's what it's like. It's like chomping into an explosion of grains. Just occurred to me that I didn't bring pickaxes. Oh well. Alright, standard Duramboros horns are done. Well, I'm not getting in for that one. He gets to finish doing his thing. Up he goes, or nope. Threw himself. And Wolfkinson, will let you post 2 quests in a row, and then we'll do a final quest of the stream. See, if I timed that flash right, it would have knocked the Durambros over. That feel when you turn around and there's a Rust Durambros flying at you? It's always fun watching these things throw themselves in the air from a distance. Oh, they traded places. Alright, there's the tail crack. If I had a pickaxe, the next time it slammed its tail down on the ground after a big launch, it would be mineable. But alas, I don't have a pickaxe, so instead... Alright, I believe we're back. I need to make sure my TV's on the right freaking input so I can see things. There we go. It's a shame. I think you missed one of the more amusing things that I have seen in these Tanzia Tuesdays. When both Durambroses were doing their spins at the same time, Rust Durambros launched itself first and landed. Then Standard Durambros launched itself and landed on the Rust Durambros' tail, getting the tail crack. So one Durambros landed on another's tail and cracked it. Well, those Durambroses were not your friend. If it weren't for the Rust Durambros. Wow! Durambros has been very mean to Rust Durambros' tail. Literally just bonked off the shell. And now they're both tired. Yeah, it is kind of interesting that both of the Russ Durambros's tail breaks in this hunt were gotten by the standard Durambros. I'm gonna just not. Thank you, Superman Dive. The air is full of Durambroses. There we go. Alright, we got the humps. That means these humps over here are the only break left in this quest. Ow. And there we go. Got every break in the quest. Who's exhausted? That is a long-range roar. Yeah, Outlander, Durambroses are quite sturdy. They are mountains of HP. If memory serves, while the hit zone values are better, as are the openings, a Durambros in this game has more HP on average than an Alatreon, if memory serves. Thankfully, most of a Durambros' attacks come from a relatively disjointed hitbox being the tip of the tail rather than underneath, making combat carving under one not the hardest thing in the world. There are certainly monsters that are harder to sneak carves from under. Hey, I got some Durambolite. So, fun fact, the reason that I always add in a wild swing instead of going straight from the upswing into the overhead, because the overhead lands at basically the same time either way, because, like, there's a long lag between the upswing and the overhead like that. Whereas that lag is cut out if you do that one wild swing. So it makes the overhead slash land at pretty much the exact same time, but you also get an extra hit in between. One of those little bits of Switch Axe tech that exists in this game. Silver Large Standard Durambros and Silver Large Rust Durambros. That certainly did not help them be shorter hunts. Alright, Wolfkinson, next post is also you. And then after that, we go to final hunt of stream. You know what? Azure Rathalos ain't bad. Especially not in this game, where it is the most Azure it has ever been. I need to make more flashes, oh well. Yeah, Outlander, at least if the guidebooks are to be believed, the overhead chop is always the same hit zone value. There's no different types of overhead chop called out in the official guidebooks. Too high up. Get down. Shame I had to waste 3 flashes for that, but hey. It's amazing it took hunters until Monster Hunter World to come up with the ingenious idea of what if I threw the flash bomb up higher? Truly, it revolutionized the hunting industry. But then monsters grew wise to the trick and just stopped being so affected by flashes. It's actually kind of interesting how monsters got more affected by flashes between Freedom Unite and Gen 3. Because Gen 2 and earlier, if you flashed a monster out of the air, it didn't flail around on the ground for any duration of time. It fell out of the air and then it stood up. But Gen 3, they decided, you know what? Nah, they should stay on the ground for a bit, give you an opening. Which, hey, I appreciate. And now they've been going more back to that old style where, no, they don't flail around, they just get back up. It's interesting how things have been changing. Well, I guess my flash was worthless, but We still got a knockdown. That must have been the you would have severed the tail had it not been flying knockdown. As in this game, you could not sever the tail of a flying monster. I believe that only started being a thing in World. And instead, what would happen is if you hit a monster's tail and would have severed it, the tail gets set to 1 HP, and the monster is knocked out of the air. But then World just decided, nah, you know what? We can afford the animation budget. We're gonna make an animation for the tail getting cut in midair. Jagia. Dang it. Am I just not allowed to sharpen in here? Oh. Well then. My sharpening was very timely and required. Yep. It's gonna contribute so much to this quest. And yeah, Freedom Unite and other Gen 2 games, monsters not staying down during the flash is totally acceptable because of how just utterly ruined their AI gets by the flash. So, like, yeah, they're more likely to just stand there and taunt. Whereas at least in Gen 3, a flashed monster will at least try to fight back. Yeah, Capcom's Monster Hunter team, like, even in Gen 3, did phenomenal animation work. But they stepped up their game for World. Like, it's... World is one of those games that is just gorgeous to behold. Sure, it's more than 5 years old now, but, like, I feel like that one's gonna stand the test of time visually. I think ice is what's best against this next monster, but whatever, I'm just gonna keep the Seed Axe. Because it is time for us to have a festival on the Sea of Sand. Sure, this is going to get this stream a copyright claim. It won't get it taken down or anything, though, and I will be able to appeal it. Be like, hey, this music plays as part of the game for which it was designed. and composed. Like, I'm playing the game according to Capcom's streaming rules. This is allowed. I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to. I'm not just uploading the music by itself. It's part of the game. And then either Capcom will release the claim or let it just expire after 30 days. But yeah, we're doing a gen because, dang it, we need to. Besides, doing Alatreon got me claimed anyway, so wouldn't be the first time for a Tanzia Tuesday. Congrats on your mantle, Wolfkinson. Don't need paint for this. Well, actually, you know, maybe we'll need to have a little help keeping track of this gen, but... Nah, I think I can get away without paint. Yeah, Wolfkinson Altreon got claimed, though it was specifically its opening scene, not the music. Whereas for Gen, they content ID the music for the fight. And this is a Gen, so we do bring pickaxes for that. Not gonna need the herbal meds. I've got 2 books of combos and nothing to combine. This item set is supposed to have honey in it. And not gonna need null berries for Gen. Unless the Delics want to get especially feisty. Two anti-dragon bombs are yours. Anti-dragon bombs go on the tusks. Hello, Mr. Moran. It is a shame that Capcom content IDs this music, because, like, it's so good. And we're gonna do a Darren on Saturday this week, just to compare and contrast. Peekaboo. Hey! We're back on. Not punished. So he's gonna shake us off pretty soon, so I'm just gonna bail. Okay, I bailed still a little too late. Or rather, from the wrong side. Good job, Cha-Cha. Back in Portable Third, you can only have one person on each ballista. I'm so very glad they changed that. Considering these hunts are for 4 players. Okay, you got the dog. Good. I forgot to use my anti-dragon bombs when I was on the tusks earlier. Also, I'd like to take this moment to say that Jen did nothing wrong. It is not Jen's fault that Paul W.S. Anderson, director of the Monster Hunter movie, took some inspiration from this. Specifically the whole sand ship going through a massive desert bit. Jen did nothing wrong. And there we go. Both back holes opened. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my mining. Wait, really? Didn't realize I'd packed my inventory so full. You know, this nose crystal looks like it should be mineable. But no, apparently it's the forehead that's mineable. Yeah, if anything, it's Darren who should be blamed for Paul W.S. Anderson doing what he did, because we don't see a Jen skeleton in that movie. We see a Darren skeleton. Can I make it back in time? No, I cannot. Yes, Outlander, Monster Hunter 4 also opens with sand ships in the desert because it's a Darren fight, which is just a gen, but different. It's still a Moran, is the thing. You know, I should probably drink my demon drug instead of just having it. That would help. Armor skin, too. Good gonging. Need to make sure that I'm on my ballista ammo and not my binder. Going up front? Is that what's happening? Yep, we're going up front. Okay. Time to ready the Dragonator and hope that I remember the timing. If memory serves, it's first leap, we ignore, second leap, we press. And that is correct. Oh, is he actually gonna let us try it? Or wait. Or yeah, the arms do break. He's gonna actually let us try and break the arms. So admittedly, the tusks are a higher priority because the arms we will definitely break in phase 2. Ow. He killed a Delix. And he wants us off, so I will oblige. Landed back on that little fin, but did make it off before damage occurred. Okay, good. I'm glad you are so on top of gonging. Certainly means I've got less to worry about. And now for the music to get even better. As it just rises up out of the ground. Okay, if memory serves, we gotta aim real high at first. That's just a smidge too high. There we go. Direct hit on the tusk. But now we're a little too high again. That's too low. And now he's gonna yell. Honestly, I really do like how they start Gen at such a distance, because, like, seeing that thing in full, like, it's a really cool monster design. You'll want to see it. And, like, it's huge, and it's coming for you. When this game came out, and when Tri came out, and when Portable Third came out, the Gens were the biggest monsters that the franchise had ever seen. And they actually did them right. This is so much better than WoW. Because, like, yeah, they're enormous. But they're intimidating. And they're actually trying to do things to you and your boat. They're not just walking. So much better. Love me some Gen. Not so much the Rock, though. Okay, right tusk is done. That was just a straight up miss. Also, unlike WoW, the music is so good! Almost. Okay, you know what, bud? Back off. Unfortunately, now we don't get the good music anymore. I hate that. Nice arm break. Keeping him backed off. Making that remaining tusk more targetable by a ballista. Ow. Okay, we're not doing anything major that needs a binding. I am ready to bind him as soon as he tries to do, like, the wind tunnel. Because that can just ruin your boat's day. I see he's getting off center, as often happens. Yeah, no, we bind this. And until such time as he backs off, I don't think we're getting any real good shots at that other tusk, singular. I'll stop gathering ballista shots when he rears up to do the big belly slam. So actually, right now is a good time to fire some off because that tusk is very reachable. Okay, the tusk is done. And he doesn't stay down for long after a tusk break, it's just kind of there. And here comes a wind tunnel. We could use the... oh, well, we could use a ballista binder if we had one. We could use the gong to stop this, but the gong is best saved for the belly flop. Oh well. The gong comes back fast enough anyway. Yeah, the gong, when used to interrupt the belly flop, gets a knockdown where you can go into the mouth and get some carves and or do lots of damage. And this wind tunnel is just going to happen because we don't have any binders. The gong is down, and he's too far away for the Dragonator, so unless we can get a flinch, he's just gonna do this one. Or he's gonna die. Okay, that can also stop it. And to get all of a Gen Moran's carves, we sit right under the very back of his throat. Oh, I still had a binder. I guess it doesn't go away. It just goes on cooldown. And oh, I go this way. Right? Where? That seems way too far. Maybe my position calibration was for Darren and not for Jen. Got all the carbs, though. Yeah, if they made Jen's corpse solid collision and thus impossible to clip through for carves, it would be a real nightmare to get all of your carves from it unless they let you get all your carves from just one spot. And then there's also the fact that if it dies close enough to the boat, then people could be trapped on the wrong side of it, which would also be an issue. But yeah, thanks, folks, for dropping by to watch and chat and all that. That's the end of this stream. I will be back tomorrow with some Resident Evil Deadly Silence. See ya then, friends.